Happy Fragrant Friday, frag heads. Hey everybody, this is Ben here at That Cologne Guy, coming to you with the first review of 2025. And oh, what a banger it is. It is none other than Kismet by Maison Alhambra. Sent in, by the way, yet again from subscriber and friend Brian. I have to say this is just becoming a weekly occurrence where Brian just sends me a package and I review it. And yet again, it is a fragrance from the UAE, or the United Arab Emirates. So I'm really, really, really looking forward to this review. I've enjoyed wearing this fragrance all week long. And thank you again very, very much, Brian. Never expected, of course not, and always very much appreciated. So let's take a look at this one. This is a little bit different than the other United Arab Emirates fragrances that I've been reviewing and rocking lately, quite frankly. This one is not a gourmand. The first thing that you're going to ask about or think of is, wow, look at the presentation on this one. And it is, if you think it looks cool here, and I apologize for the lighting, I had to record this at night. It's the only time I could work it in. If you think this looks nice here on camera, just you need to see it in person because it's incredibly impressive. Again, for the price point, less than a $50 bill, and you're looking at voila. Kismet. It's just outstanding. I told you guys before that I am now partial to the Arabic fragrances. I do admit that. But even the companies in the United Arab Emirates and the UAE, wow, specifically, well, I guess Amouage is in Oman, which is also excellent presentation, but you would expect that for a niche. All these designer fragrances, though, just have outstanding presentation, and this is no exception. So we'll take a look at here, Kismet, and you can see it doesn't have any sort of batch code or born on date, but that's fine. It does have here a mark of authenticity. It's got the information you'd expect, but again, the batch code is missing, which surprised me. It is a new house. This house is from 2020, although they have a whopping well over 200 fragrances out already. So that's interesting. And then the parent company is Latafa. So something to consider there. Now, this is an EDP. It's a 3.4 ounce. It's a 100 milliliter. And that is the presentation. I mean, would you recycle this? I mean, I'm going to keep it in its box. I usually don't, but this is just too nice to throw away. Now, when it comes to the bottle, it just keeps getting better, my friends, because this is Kismet for men. Interesting, it's not Param. And it has the emblem, which is a buck. So let me talk about that. You guys know, if you've been to Spain with the Alhambra in southern Spain, when you talk about the Alhambra, at least in Spanish, I know it comes from Arabic. It's an Arabic word, and it means fortress. So maison is French for house, of course, and then Alhambra is fortress. So what's interesting is the emblem is always a buck. So I'm not sure the story behind that. I could not find anything to give a history, but I wanted to at least mention that. And then Kismet is Kisma in Arabic. It is from Kismat in Persian. Don't forget that they speak Persian in Iran or Iran, and so a lot of Arabic words are of Persian descent, origin, and of course the opposite is true too. But Persian is a very, very, very old language, and it's Kismat in Persian, and it means division, portion, or fate. So we are going to go with, in Arabic, we are going to go with Kismet is fate. That's what I'm going to translate this one as. We have many, many, many Arabic speakers that watch every single week. Thank you very much. And you guys can let me know if you have anything else to add for either Kismet or Alhambra. That would be much appreciated. So the bottle is exceptionally regal as well. There's nothing cheap about this. The only thing that I was a little bit surprised is the cap is not magnetic. It looked like it was going to be, and then it's not. But hey, for less than $50, I don't expect it. Also has just a lovely design on each side of the bottle, and it's got the information you would expect on the bottom, with the exception, of course, is no batch code. It's a wonderful atomizer, and I will give you a spray right now. Yeah. Very, very, very different. I think Brian wanted me to experience something different than the gourmands. Well, this one kind of is. It's not a dessert like gourmand. Let's just put it that way. So that's the name. Now let's get down to some of our categories. This one, well, actually the notes, first of all. This one has woodsy notes. It's got nutmeg. So in the initial blast, I'm a huge fan of nutmeg, and you definitely pick up a lot of nutmeg, which is why in some ways you can make an argument that this is maybe a type of gourmand. Someone says it, I'm going to talk in a minute about it, but someone said that it smells like rotting vegetation. I don't know that I would go that far. But it has nutmeg, and then in the mid, in the heart, you've got patchouli, sandalwood, cacao, and coffee. Brian knows I love nutmeg, and I love cacao and coffee. And then in the base, you've got vanilla and vetiver. So, and the vetiver is an exceptionally refined vetiver in my estimation. In fact, I feel like it's got more vetiver than vanilla. And that really is good news for me. So those are the notes. Now, I have to tell you that before I hit record, I was going through my notes on this one. I couldn't find a year, by the way, but the company started in 2020. So, I mean, the oldest it was 2020. It's probably a 2021, but I could not find a release date for this one. I apologize. Or a parfumé, by the way. So here's the thing about this one. I'm really struggling describing what it smells like. Someone said again, rotting vegetation. I don't agree with that. To me, this is going to be too general. I know that it is, but all I can come up, it just smells like that one older cousin or that one uncle at all of your, family gatherings that, does a lot of traveling, and he's very austere and sophisticated, older, but not grandpa-ish in a negative way. Just a refined, mature gentleman. I'm going to be if it sounds like I'm being very careful walking that line, I am. So that's all I can come up with. And here's the other thing I had put in my notes. I was originally going to dock a little bit because I felt like it doesn't have a lot of personality. But now, don't get frustrated. I'm not going to do it because I have to say that I've really never reviewed a fragrance like this one. I mean, a nutmeg, vetiver, coffee, patchouli, vanilla. I have to say that it really is quite original, at least for the fragrances that I have reviewed. It's very, very different from the quote-unquote traditional, typical Middle Eastern fragrances that I often review, meaning it's going to have, some combination of oud and rose in it, and of course other notes, of course, but I just mean I tend to like, and Brian knows this, the gourmand, which means food-like. This one is, you've got nutmeg, nutmeg, cacao, coffee, and vanilla, but it's not as sweet. Like, this one doesn't have a coffee shop vibe, even though it's got coffee in it. It's food-like, and I can't say rotting vegetation. I don't agree with that, but it's not the ultra sticky sweet ones that I typically like. It really is one of those right in the middle. You have to understand the woodsy notes here are quite prominent, so it's one of those fragrances that is really going to be great for gift giving. So I was originally going to say it lacked a little personality. It is kind of the fragrance that you could just give somebody in full confidence, knowing that they're probably going to like it in a certain age bracket. But then I was thinking to myself, I really haven't reviewed something like this, and I'm having a challenging time describing what it smells like, which all gives it a thumbs up, really, and speaks to the fact that it actually does have some personality to it. So I did not take off at all for that. So that's what it smells like. It smells like more of an interaction you would have, an older, distinguished gentleman, professor type. Don't look at me like that. And it does. It's regal. It's elegant. But it really is challenging for me to think of something specific that it smells like, which I actually like about the fragrance. Okay, enough on that. So age group, though, I am going to go a whopping 40 and up. I know, the boo birds are out. I know it's not a gourmand. It's not a grandpa-ish scent. I'm not saying that it is. I'm just saying that it is definitely a mature scent. I don't see any middle school, high school, college guys rocking this. I don't see too many guys. Under 40, maybe 30, 35. It has a dad, it has an older vibe to it. It just does. It's nothing negative. It just has a mature vibe to it. So I'm going to go. All right, you booed me, so I'll go 35 and up. How's that? I'll go 35 and up as far as guys who actually are wearing this one, rocking it. It's their signature scent, etc. Now, let's go ahead and talk about gender then. This one clearly is pour homme, or for men, and it is, I would imagine, people who own it, people who it's their signature scent, they wanted it, they sought it. It wasn't just given to them. I would say that you would be looking at pretty much like an 85-15 split. This is clearly a throwback, an old school men's fragrance. In fact, I'm even going to go 90. I'm going to go 90-10. I don't see too many women rocking this one. It's got vanilla. You could, but it's a 90-10. So 90% of the people who own it, who wanted it, will be men, and 10% will be women. This is also a nighttime fragrance. This would be slightly quirky, I think, to wear during the day at the office. You could, though, especially, again, this is all cultural. And you guys know I myself do these things. I'm just saying, in general, you would associate it more for the night. The nighttime, happy hours, romantic nights out, dinner with friends, those kinds of things. Is it a knockout? Would I rock this juice on a first date? I wouldn't. It's kind of a daily driver for older guys. Again, don't look at me like that. It is, though. There's nothing wrong in saying that. This is perfect for a lot of guys who just want to reach for, one fragrance a year. Every day, right? Because of the vegetation quality to it, I could see kind of a spring, but I would say this is more a fall, winter, and I would not necessarily reach for this a lot in the summer. I don't think it'd be too cloying. I associate with the fall and winter, and even into spring. Actually, for me, I could be convinced totally for spring, not so much summer. So, like in really, really hot climates, this would not be too cloying, but it would be, I don't know. It's just something I wouldn't necessarily reach for this as my first choice. It is an excellent. To talk about versatility, it's an excellent Father's Day gift. This kind of just screams Father's Day, really, in many ways. So this would be a good gift to give to that man in your life who doesn't necessarily have tons and tons of fragrances, because it's kind of a no-lose option. It has a whopping 4.32 out of 5 rating on Fragrantica, so that's just outstanding. It's a wonderful fragrance. So that is the age. We've got the gender. We've got daytime, nighttime, versatility, essentially event. Now let's go ahead and talk about, and I also got season. Let's go ahead and do longevity, projection, and sillage. This is where I was a little cranky. The projection was quite good, and I like the fact that it's subtle. It is definitely a subtle fragrance. You would have to spray a lot of times to get it to project more than 3 feet for more than 4 hours. This is the type of fragrance that stays closer to your jacket, closer to the skin, and a lot of people are really going to like that. So the projection was, I would say, Actually, it's going to be the same number for longevity, which is 4 to 6 hours. This will project relatively well for about 4 hours, and then it'll start to get real close to the skin. And then the longevity, was a 4 to 6. I don't think I could get a work shift out of this unless I sprayed some more. And so I was a little cranky because this is an eau de parfum or an EDP, and it fell short. This definitely functions like an EDT on my skin, an eau de toilette, and so I'm gonna dock a point, quite frankly, for that, and it deserves it because it needed to hit more of a home run than it really did. I was constantly, really trying to get it to the finish line of an 8-hour mark, and it's just not going to do it. So 4 to 6, and then the sillage is quite good coming in out of rooms. I don't know if I would say you get noticed. If somebody is close enough to you, then they will pick it up. But it's definitely not the kind of fragrance where you walk into a room and somebody's going to go, "Oh my God, who's wearing that amazing cologne?" I don't see that. This is definitely more. If I had to use one word, it would be subtle. So there you have it. There's the longevity projection, and sillage would have liked a little bit more. Okay, so when it comes to the rating. I talked about docking a spray because of the lack of longevity. Other than that, that's really all I can come up with. This is what a 4 out of 5 sprays in my channel looks like. This was another easy review because, I'm not going to take off from the fact that I didn't absolutely love this fragrance initially. Like a love. The initial blast, the first 15 minutes or so is not necessarily my type. But I like that about this one. And as I said earlier, I was just trying to think to myself, like, what does this smell like? And I cannot come up with anything where it smells like something that I have already reviewed. So I tip my cap to them for that. If you like the idea of wearing an 80s throwback kind of powerhouse fragrance, but it has a modern, subtle element to it, then look no further because Kismet would be perfect for you. So I gave this a 4 out of 5. This is an easy, like I said, the rating, the initial maybe 15, 20 minutes is just, I was a little lukewarm. But then, like I told Brian, the first day I wore this, I was out walking and I sprayed it indoors, of course. And then I went out walking outside and I sprayed it and I thought, this might be one of the few that maybe doesn't work for me. Then I walked past a guy and he waved. We walked pretty close to each other, and I thought, man, that guy really smells nice. I wish I had a fragrance like that. And then I went and looked at my watch, brought it close to me, and I realized that it was me. It was Kismet, and so it really has a very cozy. It's like a hug in a bottle. Actually, it is a mature, cozy gentleman's fragrance that is subtle, and I really like it. It's 4 out of 5 for me, and I'm going to go 1 on each wrist and 1 on each side of the neck. And oh man. Kismet by Maison Alhambra, yet another bottle sent in from Brian. Make sure in the comment box you always let me know if you have anything to say about this fragrance. Great, but if not, I always love to know your scent of the day. It brings me so much happiness to go onto Fragrantica and see all the juice that you guys are rocking. Always enjoy that. So let me know your scent of the day. Let me know your thoughts on this one. If you have worn this, by the way, please let us know what you think it smells like, because one of the comments that comes up in my channel a lot is they want me to work more on not just the notes, but what it smells like. And man, I have to wave the white flag when it comes to this one. Other than I just really, really enjoy it, and of course I've already explained who it reminds me of. So there you have it, another fragrance review by the boards, my friends. I hope you have a wonderful year, and I hope you have a wonderful week. And always remember, my friends, fragrance marks the celebration of today. Take care, everybody. Now, let's talk about some other things. Subtle. So, and I got to turn off my phone. And so, if you like the idea of wearing kind of an 80s throwback, if you like the idea, one, two, three.